meaning you're picking up some more Bitcoin than you could have before, because now BNB is up 33% on Bitcoin, or ETC is up 25% on Bitcoin. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Traveling Crypto. Let us get right into the market update for today. We're right at around 253 billion. Bitcoin dominance again between 47-48%. This is becoming typical. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let us get right into Bitcoin, and then I want to talk about HOLO and a few other coins that we did send out trade alerts for. If you want access to the trade alerts, link is in the description. So looking at Bitcoin, we see right off the top that we have divergence between the price, the RSI, and the stochastic. This is what we call hidden bullish divergence. And hidden bullish divergence, or hidden divergence, is an indication that a trend will continue. So currently, if we're on a price uptrend like we are here, Bitcoin is making higher lows, then likely this price uptrend will continue. Obviously, this also is dependent on volume and a number of other factors. But here we do see hidden bullish divergence. The stochastic and the RSI are making lower lows, and the price is making a higher low. 6,900 seems to be the strong support at the moment. We've seen historical support and resistance levels at the 6,800 to 6,900 level, and it seems to be holding up there for the last 3 days so far. So could you justify making a position into Bitcoin? As you know, we've been swing trading Bitcoin on and off for the entire year, basically. Again, check the trade alerts if you want to get those swing trade alerts on Bitcoin. But yes, you could most likely justify a partial position in Bitcoin at the moment. You don't want to be stuck in a position where you're trying to catch a falling knife, if you've ever heard that term. Basically, if a knife is falling and you're trying to catch the blade, you're going to get cut. So essentially what we try to do is wait until the knife hits the floor, wait until it shakes a little bit, and then you pick the knife back up. It's just a trading term. It's a corny ass trading term, but it's relevant though. So you don't want to be stuck trying to catch a falling knife. So instead of putting all your eggs in one price point, what you do is scale into your purchases depending on where you see the support. And 6,800, 6,900, that seems to be a reliable point of support. However, we could dip back down depending on what goes on with the volume as well as with the news. Don't discount fundamentals, right? So what if you hear news that ETFs are no longer in position, or that banks in the US stopped allowing customers to buy on Coinbase or something? I'm just making it up. That's not the case. I'm just making it up. But I'm saying that, of course, those things are going to affect price. So anyway, we are currently under all three EMAs again, the 50, which is the orange, the 100, which is the green, and the 200, which is the yellow. I know it doesn't seem like it because we're dealing with Bitcoin, and so those three are flipped. Usually you'll see the 50 first, and then the 100, and then the 200. But because of the volatile price action lately in the last few months, those three have switched, and we have a bunch of death crosses going on where the 50 is below the 100 and the 100 is below the 200. Anyway, so let us look at a shorter term increment real quick. Looking at the 4-hour, let us just ignore this. Bitcoin seems to be forming a bearish pattern here. Looks like a descending triangle, to be honest. So that means in the interim, we could see a further price drop, or some sort of sideways trading in that 6,800, 6,900 range before we see an increase in price. Usually the breakout from this pattern is to the downside, which is a bearish pattern again. So we'll see what happens. Obviously 5,800 is our strong support, and we hit that in June, and Bitcoin bounced right back up because 5,800 was, the market determined that it was too low, and that's when we saw that rally. Again, if it was me, I would probably hold off on making a position at the moment because of what the shorter term increment is telling us, but you could justify a partial position as well. Here's another thing to remember. So we might as well just get into it, but on BNB and ETC, we made 25% on ETC and over 30% gains on BNB. And here is one thing to consider. You'll see that these are priced against Bitcoin, right? So that means that when you sell or when you have your stop limit, again, I always keep a stop limit. I always objectively know when I'm going to exit my position depending on what the price action is doing. So in this case, I set a 2.5% trailing stop on both of these. So as the price kept going up, I kept moving my stop limit up in order to protect my profits. In case of a pullback, then I would jump out of the position. So you're looking here, these are priced against BTC. So that means that when you're actually selling, you're gaining more BTC. So you don't always have to actively buy BTC. That is one of the phenomenons of crypto trading, is that, you know, you do have Bitcoin as an asset, but then you also have the altcoins, which are usually priced against Bitcoin and are determined by Bitcoin's price action. So when you do exit out of the position, you're exiting, you know, out of your alt into Bitcoin, meaning you're picking up some more Bitcoin than you could have before, because now BNB is up 33% on Bitcoin, or ETC is up 25% on Bitcoin. And I'm comfortable exiting into Bitcoin at these levels, obviously, because we're up so much, double-digit percentage profits against Bitcoin. So you don't always have to actively, you know, just buy Bitcoin with Tether or fiat. You could exit out of your alt into Bitcoin when Bitcoin is really cheap, and that way you're already booking profits. So looking at BNB real quick, you'll see that, again, we did make over 30% gains. We did hit a red candle yesterday, this one right here, and my stop limit hit because I had it set really tight, minus 2.5%. Exited out into BTC. We do see a green candle forming today. Am I jumping back in? No, because there isn't really any market confirmation that we're going to see a continuation of the trend. I don't spot any divergences between the oscillators and the price. There isn't any real pattern indicating that we might see a breakout. Now you do see there is, let me just, if I erase this, I'll show you real quick. You do see sort of a possible bull flag forming, although currently it looks like an ascending wedge, right? So you have an ascending wedge here. I'll just draw it real sloppy. An ascending wedge is a bearish pattern, right? But this also could turn into a bull flag where you have the pole, and if we continue trading sideways, this is distracting. And if you continue trading sideways, you'll see could be a bull flag pattern here before we see another breakout to the upside. So that's why, I mean, because we're in a precarious position, right? It's unknown. I don't need to make a buyback onto BNB. I already booked over 30% profits, and I'm good, and I'm going to wait until I get market confirmation. Otherwise, I'm going to stay put on this. Same thing goes for ETC. ETC right now is pumping hard. Yesterday, there was a bit of a dip. You don't see it here, obviously, because this is the day candle. But if you look at the 12-hour candle, you'll see it. And this dip is what caused my stop limit to hit, my minus 2%, 2.5% stop limit to hit, and we booked profits. Now, you could justify re-entering into ETC because we do see the trend continue. There really isn't a way to measure this here. I mean, you could try and spot some patterns on the shorter term increments, right? But on the day increments, there really isn't anything telling here. There is one thing that I would caution against, which is there's divergence, bearish divergence now between the price and between the RSI for the same period. So the RSI made a higher high, the price made a lower high. This is an indication of waning momentum, and there could be a price drop in the future. Now, if ETC all of a sudden says, hey, you know, we're getting closer to be listed on Coinbase, that was already announced. But if the actual listing is closer than we think, or some news comes out saying that the listing is bumped up sooner than we thought, then that good news could spark another rally for ETC. But based off of the technicals, again, you see this bearish divergence again. This is hidden bearish divergence, meaning that the downtrend in price, because the price made a lower high, will likely continue. Again, we booked 25% profits. We don't need to rush things. We could see how today's candle plays out, because obviously if today's candle keeps rising in price and the RSI doesn't rise at the same rate, then that divergence could go away. Also, this is a double bottom here, which is a bullish pattern now looking at it. So we could see a continued breakout from this, but there's really nothing to tell whether the price is going to keep pumping up or not from a technical perspective. So you could wait until a more discernible pattern is formed, or you get market confirmation in some form of pattern or indicator that tells you, yes, you can jump back into ETC. Let us jump right into the hot coin for the day. No pun intended. Hot is the ticker symbol for HOLO, which is up 38% against BTC, also around the same against USD. Now, hot was recently listed on Binance. There is one thing that I want to point your attention to. So hot is also Hydro Protocol depending on which exchange you are looking at. So hot could be HOLO on Binance, or hot could be Hydro Protocol on other exchanges. But on TradingView, there seems to be a bug where hot on Binance lists as Hydro Protocol, but it is actually HOLO. It's actually this coin right here. So if you look at markets in CoinMarketCap, you'll see hot/BTC. That is the correct ticker, but on TradingView, it still lists it as Hydro Protocol, which is, misleading. So just know that if you're looking in TradingView, hot is actually HOLO. Now, I did send out a trade alert for this, and obviously it hasn't been on the market for a long time. So why did I send out a trade alert for this? Well, here's the thing. I always dedicate a certain percentage of my portfolio to riskier plays, right? Risky plays are plays that are unknown, coins that are unknown, projects that you're willing to take a chance on. Obviously, I always advocate for protecting myself, right? Protect your trade. So always know when you're going to exit regardless. But there are coins that you could take chances on, Hydro Protocol being one, or sorry, see, I messed myself up. HOLO being one of them, because it was recently, before it was announced on Binance, there were rumblings that it would be announced on Binance. And so I sent out a trade alert saying that you can reserve a certain percentage of your portfolio. This depends on your risk profile. So some traders are willing to take more risk than others, but you can reserve a certain amount of your portfolio for riskier plays and then take a chance with them. That's exactly what you're doing. We don't really have much information, right? So you do take a chance with them, and sometimes those chances hit. When they don't, you have a stop limit to exit your trade if and when shit goes down. So looking at HOLO, that trade alert worked out. We are up 38% against BTC. If you bought it with USDT, actually, I don't think you could buy it with USDT at the moment. No. But if you were on an exchange that accepted fiat and you bought it with fiat, you're up 38% as well. Now, here's what I would do. Again, if you've been watching for the last 10 minutes or however long this video has been going on, I would move my stop limit up to protect these profits. I think traders, especially new traders, get caught up too much in the hodling mentality, and they don't really have an objective sense of when they're going to exit their trade. But I would want to book these profits. This is 38%. We're in a bear market, 38%. You will never fucking get that on the stock market. So set your stop limits as a trailing stop. The price keeps moving up. You can manually set your stop limit moving up. You can use a third-party service like 3 commas. I'll get into that in another video. But anyway, the main point is keep moving your stop limit up. And just as I was talking, you see this huge dip back down. So I got to go move my stop limit, but move your stop limit up, protect your profits, especially in a bear market. That is it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. Join the Discord. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me. Leave a comment. Leave your crypto addresses in the comment. Leave your Bitcoin address in the comment. We hit 21K. I want to do a crypto giveaway for that. Thank you guys so much for your support. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit that notification bell. Again, if you want access to the trade alerts, link is in the description. Stay safe out there. Peace.